What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Blaze, and typically on my channel, if you guys have watched the channel for a little while, you'll know that I generally cover Nintendo content, whether it's consoles, games, even on Twitch. I stream a lot of Nintendo games and stuff like that too. Nintendo is probably my favorite company, but every now and then I like to check in with other consoles and see what's going on in their neck of the woods, on their side of the fence, and see what kind of party they're having. So on your screen right now, right here, is the DualShock controller for the PlayStation 5 that Sony just showed off today, probably just a few minutes ago. I want to say it was probably like maybe 30 minutes ago. I've not read the article yet. I will get into some of the details here in a second, but this is the PlayStation 5 controller. First impressions on the image, I'm still kind of processing this thing, and I have to say, I think the white is a bold choice, very bold choice, because white shows dirt very easily, and I don't know if I want to see all the dirt that's on my controller. Maybe it's better to see it than not see it, I don't know, but I don't know how that's going to go over. And I also don't necessarily like the undertone color of this gray, blackish charcoal color that's underneath. I feel like they should just pick one color and stick with it. I don't know how I feel about the color scheme that they're going with. Maybe the PlayStation 5 will be white, and we're in for a drastic change. Traditionally, PlayStations have been black, but this one could have a change. We'll see. I don't know how that's going to work out. The shape of the controller is kind of like an Xbox controller. I don't think I have an Xbox controller over here. I can't really show it off, but I think it looks a little bit more like an Xbox controller. This part right here doesn't come down quite as far as the Xbox does, but I feel like it is a little bit closer to the same design as the Xbox controller. But I mean, they all typically have the same, four face buttons, 2 analog sticks, D-pad, and then the shoulder buttons too. So obviously it's gonna resemble that in some way, because it just by default it's a controller, and they all kind of look that way. So not to brush it off, but it does kind of look like an Xbox controller a little bit more than it has in the past, than PlayStation has in the past. Let's see. There's some other screenshots here too. We got the back side. This kind of looks about what you'd expect from a PlayStation controller. The touchpad, and I guess that clicks too. You can click that button. Shoulder buttons, R1, R2. I'm guessing these also click. And then the last part, yeah, just a closer view of the D-pad there. Interesting. It's a very interesting look. I think the look of the controller is very... I don't love the color scheme. That's really the only thing that I would say. It's not what I expected, but only because of the colors. So that's all I'm going to say for it there. Let's read through some of this article and see what we can find out about the PlayStation 5 controller. Let's see. So... much of what gamers love about DualShock 4 intact, while also adding new functionality and refining the design. Touch was a big inspiration when designing the DualSense, and haptic feedback is one of the ways this new controller will help bring PS5 games to life. So this is called the DualSense controller. We'll see how that factors into the gameplay, hopefully in a few minutes here. So Sony mentions that this feedback will add a variety of powerful sensations you'll feel when you play, such as the slow grittiness of driving a car through mud. Adaptive triggers have also been incorporated to the L2 and R2 buttons, which will help players feel the tension of your actions, like when drawing a bow to shoot an arrow. So that's interesting. Maybe the triggers become harder to press, depending on how far down you need to press them for certain actions. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I could see that breaking, but I don't think there's probably a lot of playtesting involved right now just to make sure that they don't break, and then developers have to use it too, so we'll see. Fitting these new features into a brand new controller was a challenge for the design team, and they worked closely with PlayStation's hardware engineers to make the controller feel smaller than it would end up being. The angle of the hand triggers were changed, and some subtle updates were made to the grip. They also gave thoughtful consideration into how to keep a strong battery life for the DualSense, and wanted to ensure the weight of the controller did not get out of hand. Get it? Out of hand. Because it's in your... Anyway, One thing that will be missing from the DualSense is the share button that was featured on the DualShock 4. Sharing from the controller is not gone, but that previous button has been replaced by a new create button. Sony promises more details will be revealed on this change as we get closer. Obviously, it's going to be like they just renamed the button, and they're gonna focus more on creating content like videos and screenshots and stuff. I'm certain there'll be filters, and there'll be like fun, like, you know, confetti things you can put on your pictures. That's my guess, just an educated guess. And then I'm sure that you can create the last, you know, 5 or 6 minutes of your gameplay, maybe up to 10 minutes, and put that up on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. I'm sure there'll be a feature like that. They're basically just renaming the button and maybe adding some features. I don't know why they wouldn't say that now. It's pretty easy to assume, but whatever. DualSense will also have built-in microphone array that will allow players to easily chat with friends, even for those who don't own a headset. That's pretty cool. Built-in microphones, pretty neat. As for the color, it is a bit of a non-traditional design as far as PlayStation is concerned. Usually PlayStation controllers have a single color, but the DualSense has a two-tone design to make it stand apart. Additionally, the position of the light bar, which will be returning, was moved to give it an extra pop. Now the light bar sits on either side of the touchpad as opposed to the top of the controller. So yeah, we kind of saw that in the screenshots here, the light bar. I didn't make a note of that because I think on the controller, yeah, the light bar is on the top right here on the PlayStation 3. So you can see right there on the top, that's the light bar. They moved it to inside the touchpad here to kind of give accent lights to the controller on the front. I don't see this very often while I'm playing a game, and there are some games that take advantage of it and actually do utilize this to change colors of like lightsabers and colors of the player that's playing. So I think that's cool to add a little bit of a subtle visual effect to the controller. That's cool. PlayStation went through several concepts and hundreds of mock-ups over the last few years before the final design was reached, and it was tested on gamers with a wide variety of hand sizes to ensure maximum comfort for as many as possible. How do you get in? How do you get in to be one of these people that gets to test out a Sony PlayStation controller before it's released? Like, if you're a person who tests things out like this, just shoot me an email. I want to be a part of that. DualSense marks a radical departure from our previous controller offerings and captures just how strongly we feel about making a generation leap with PS5. The new controller, along with the many innovative features in PS5, will be transformative for games, continuing our mission at PlayStation to push the boundaries of play, now and in the future. To the PlayStation community, I truly want to thank you for sharing this exciting journey with us as we head toward PS5's launch in holiday 2020. We look forward to sharing more information about PS5, including the console and design, in the coming months. So Microsoft has revealed the controller, the Series X and its controller. IGN's broken down that. I didn't talk about the Xbox controller because it looks exactly the same, and there might be some new features to it, but I mean, just the D-pad is like the only thing that's different on that, so I haven't talked about that. But this is the PS5 controller, and I'm likely to get a PlayStation 5 when it comes out because I've loved the PS4. I thought it was a great console. A lot of the games that came out, Resident Evil Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Borderlands was awesome on it. I mean, there's just so many games that I knew I'd want to play that were not going to be on the Switch that I needed to have the PlayStation in order to play them. So I think that I'm probably going to get a PlayStation 5. Most likely, I don't see why not. And I guess we'll have to get used to the drastic contrast between that white and that charcoal gray. Maybe the lights will help. Disintegrate. I'm trying to think of the word. Maybe the lights will help. I can't think of the word. Maybe the lights will help distinguish between the light and the gray a little bit better. But overall impressions, it looks pretty cool. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be a good controller. It doesn't look too wildly different than what we expected. I know some of the concepts for like the Switch controllers and a few others in the past had shown like this type of design, but these wingtips were like super long for some reason. It's not wildly different, but it's different enough. And this right here in the middle looks like a button too, so I think that's going to be interesting. the PlayStation was more of a jewel button on the thing there. So it looks like it's going to be something similar to that, but more of like a logo that just depresses in. So, and there's another button underneath that, which I'm not sure what that does, but time will tell. I'm sure they'll give us some more information. But that's the PS5 controller. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you are excited for it, if you're going to get a PlayStation, if you are Nintendo through and through and you don't play anything else, that's fine too. But let me know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.